Welcome back to WCS America Challenger League and to our 5th best of 5 of the day. Kev, we're doing better than I thought. It's only 8:30 p.m. We've only got 2 best of 5s. We'll be out of here before 11 after all.
Don't say that before we start guessing a TVT ban. You know what could happen.
We've got Koma versus Alive coming up, and this is a series that I'm especially excited for. Not because I'm particularly fond of TVT. It's actually my least favorite matchup. But I am incredibly excited to follow the rise of Koma. Young Canadian Terran player, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's only 17. Is that what I saw? 17 years old. And absolutely plowed through the qualifier.
He had a really tough grid as well. I remember he beat, I think, Ghost User and Xenocider in the same bracket. So that was super impressive. He was definitely the story of that day. And I'm very curious to see if we're going to see once more to be the story of Koma. If Koma is once more going to be the hero of the day, could he be the Canadian that makes Canada go 4-4 and be the first Canadian to actually defeat? No, actually, that's what defeated the Korean as well. So one Korean Terran down, maybe another one, but Alive is, of course, a world-class Terran player. Alive was the only player to make it to the WCS season finals of Season 1 and Season 2. And in GamesCon he even played perhaps the tournament of his year, in my opinion, where I think he made it to the semi-final, either way here, or at least the quarter-final. But Alive played absolutely fantastic in that tournament. So not to be underestimated. I think it's safe to say Alive is a big favorite, but I look very much forward to seeing Koma play as well. Yeah,
me too. I think Alive is a good step up from what Koma had to beat to qualify. Beating great foreign players is an achievement, but Alive is somebody who has stood at the absolute top of the world at one point in his career. Safe to say that he's probably not considered the best Terran player on the planet anymore. But there's a time when he was. And I think he's going to prove to be a very difficult TVT opponent for Koma. A great proving grounds, though, for Koma to say, "Hey, check me out. I'm here to play."
And still, of course, we're playing on the North American server, so there should be a nice latency advantage for Koma. And I think a TVT that could be useful as well, as it is a matchup that can be very multitasking intensive, and it's often all about engagements or not, especially if we're going to see some Mac versus Bio. What I'm expecting, though, is Bio from both plays. Well, I'm thrown off by Alive's platinum icon. NA server, best server again. Alive currently stuck in platinum league. He's grinding his way through the lower leagues, but he is 8 for 8. I was really hoping to see Alive with like a 46% win rate. It's like, man, those NA players are good.
He's been running into Roddy too many times.
No, I have not run into me. MMR too high, son.
Yeah.
Seems like our first map is going to be Altazim Stronghold. Well, Ben, why don't you just go ahead and take it away? Well, I'm going to get a fresh air.
Sit back, put our feet up. We could probably come back in 20 minutes and the game would be, the first fights would be starting.
Yep, we see the 3-3 Ravens engaging, or 3-3 Vikings running into a bunch of Ravens, Seeker missiles being casted.
This could be a long one, but who knows what we have in store for us. I haven't seen Koma play, ever. This is the first time for me, so I'm waiting with bated breath. We did see his teammate play earlier today.
Yes, Bills.
And he unfortunately went down. But Deimos Koma has a chance to avenge his teammate in a little bit.
Deimos definitely the story of the North American qualifiers as well. Of course, Root did very well, but so is Deimos. Today is not a Root for Root day. Tomorrow there will be a day to root for Root, as I believe Minigun is playing tomorrow. So that's going to be awesome.
Today is Root for former Root day. As Major versus Kane is going to be our last match of the night.
Oh, the transition.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into game. Game number 1 between Alive and Koma. And here we see one-time champion, the Red Terran player. He is Alive. Alive has a long history in StarCraft 2, an IPL champ. He played for Fnatic. He played for EG. And is he teamless at the moment?
I think EG let him go, because I think they only kept JYP from the originals. Yes. Actually, you're really putting me on the spot now, because I remember there were rumors, and then I think that he put on Twitter that he was looking for a team. But I'm not sure if I actually read it in the official statement, but I'm pretty sure EG let him go.
Well, either way, Alive's opponent, the 17-year-old StarCraft wonder kid, his name is Koma. Koma is hoping to make his mark on the WCS. Continuing that great run by taking out Alive here would put him in the Premier League. That would be awesome.
He's also not playing on the EG tag, so I'm pretty sure EG let him go. I have to double check this.
Now, Altazim's Stronghold is a huge map, and I think it's no surprise here that we're seeing Koma set up for a command center first as a result of that. Dropping that command center in the back where he will be nice and safe and has no need to worry. On a live side of the map, we see that he's gotten an early gas. So it's looking kind of like he might be thinking about some kind of crazy Banshee opening. And that makes a little bit of sense to me. Alive probably feels like he's the better player. He's going to put pressure on Koma and see how well he deals with it.
Yep, it's also an opening that if Koma doesn't take too much damage, he should be able to be okay out of this though. In general, you know, if I see this, I always prefer to be the player that's going for the either command center first or the no gas fast expand, because then, you know, fate is in your own hands. Of course, Banshees can deal damage, but in the end of the day, if you prepare well, if your defense is okay, then you should put yourself in a good position, because a cloak Banshee is a cloak Banshee. It doesn't really matter in whose hands it is. Of course, you know, it's going to be hard to pick it off for free. A good player like Alive is not going to make a silly mistake. But at the end of the day, if you have your missile turrets in the right place, yes, you might lose a few Marines. But if that's the only thing that you're going to lose, you'll be in good shape.
Yep. So really the question for Koma is his build capable of dealing with this? It should be, obviously. Just need to get that eBay in time, get a couple of units out in time. As we see Alive finishing up his factory. Should be dropping the starport now. It's going to go right down. And Tech Lab.
Funny how he repositions his factory.
Tech Lab, Tech Lab, Tech Lab. Bam. Tech Lab. All right. This is such a common situation in StarCraft 2 TVT, the fast expanding player against the player that's going for the early aggression.
Going one Rex factory as well, Ben. So might be able to get a Widow Mine out and try to put a mine in a good position. I often say put your mine in a really stupid position, because good players won't fly it into the obvious spots. So when you put it in a really dumb position,
Makes perfect sense to me.
you often have a good shot of getting that free
This
hit.
is the spot right here.
Where you look?
This is where
That's
he
a
wants to
little
put
too
that
far
mine.
away. I don't think
He can do it, I believe.
The Widow Mine is not going to make
He'll
it
get the
there.
second Banshee with it.
I would put it, you know, just over here, random. I think it would be good, right outside of the third base. Just like the last place in the world that you start looking.
Starport goes right down for Koma, so it looks like he might be one of those guys that believes in getting a Viking out early to contend with things like Banshee openings. First Banshee is about 90% complete.
Well, what is he gonna do with this reactor, man? He's gonna produce 2 Hellions at a time, so he's not gonna make a single Widow Mine. And it's actually a little risky, because right now he only has 2 Marines out. First Banshee just popped. Scan is outside of range as well. He's not gonna see the starport with that scan. I guess he can sort of say what's going on, because he can click on the refinery, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But still, it would have been nice to see that starport. And I think...
no turrets.
Okay. Wow, how's he gonna... I don't understand.
No turrets, no cloak.
I think Koma's in a little bit of trouble, man. Koma is gonna take a beating over here.
Yeah, he's going to lose a couple of SCVs for sure. Immediately he's going to pull. Well, those Hellions are not going to help Koma.
That's why I was surprised not to see a single Widow Mine, because sometimes even if your mine is not in the right position, it can buy time, you know, and at least force your bench to maneuver around.
This is going to be a great opening here for Alive. He's already got 6 kills. He's going to get several more before there's anything out that can really deal with this. Koma's actually researching Cloak here. He's also trying to get a Viking out to ultimately deal with the Banshee, but I think the damage has been dealt. If we look at the worker tab, we can see that
11, that's just too many.
Yeah, you can see that Alive has even taken an SCV lead. Viking does finally pop out, and the Banshee is going to die, but not before she picks off a couple of final SCVs.
16 SCVs have gone down. 16, Ben.
Yep, that's massive. Now Koma's probably going to be able to be even-ish because he does have the faster command center. He does have double orbital already. But Alive is going to maintain some kind of an advantage for a long time. And these Hellions really served absolutely no purpose, man.
Nope.
This isn't a map where Hellion openings make a whole lot of sense, because you can't just drive into your opponent's natural and do damage.
I'm a little bit confused as well now. I'm by no means a TVT expert, so I don't really just want to judge. But I feel the same way. Like, these Hellions are just... Well, there are not too many Marines over here.
No, and maybe he's hoping to take advantage of the fact that Alive is not really
prepared. It's going to take so long before you can kill these depots. I mean, if he doesn't have these depots here, then of course it would be a lot better for Koma, but it's not going to really work out this time. We can see that Stim is going to be a lot quicker for Alive as well. Is Koma even looking to get Stim, Ben? As he hasn't really shown us yet what direction he wants to go. And there we see double armory.
Widow Mine hits every Hellion. Kills one and damages all the rest. So, a little bit sloppy there by Koma. Certainly a great opening for Alive. Koma's finishing up his 3rd command center right now. Is Alive getting a 3rd CC? Looks like he's not.
Alive's going to play Bio, while Koma's going to play Mech.
Interesting. I think... oh, yeah, the E-base for turrets. Yeah, I guess... I don't know. I like to feel like when it's Bio versus Mech and you have a clear separation in skill, that the Bio player is probably going to come out ahead. But we're going to have to wait and see. We don't actually know if there is a separation in skill between these two players. All we know is that Alive's gotten the better of the early game.
Yep. All we know is that Koma did not expect the Banshee to arrive that quick, even though he did throw down a scan. But I guess in that moment his state was kind of sealed already, because he was getting a reactor. He decided to open up with those Hellions. I would have really loved to see him open up with 2 mines, but I guess it's not really his style. Now he's going to move out with a medevac ban. He picked up 2 Hellions. He can pick up 2 more. But still, yeah, there's not just a place where he can run by, so the only thing that he's gonna harass with are these Hellions. There are a few Marines in the natural from Alive, who's dropping his 3rd command center now as well. It's a little later than the one of Koma, so Koma definitely has that going for himself. His 3 factory production is also almost about to kick in. So we're gonna have a lot of Hellions, I think, this game, a lot of Hellbats.
You know, one thing that I do like about Koma's choice of build on this map is the fact that he can very slowly just push up as he's expanding, and he's gonna constantly be expanding towards his opponent.
We've seen it with HTO Mario. Can be awesome.
Yeah, it did work out well in that weird qualifier game where Mario was expanding into his opponent's 4th base or something crazy like that. You know, I think this is a perfect map and perfect positions for Koma to try to do something like that. Alive's gonna go ahead and get out on the map with his first couple of medevacs, but thus far has not opened up any opportunities to harass.
I'm a little bit worried for Koma that he's not going to be able to defend everywhere at once, because he's taking that 3rd base very eager. Well, yes, he's working off 3 factories, but he only had a single tech lab for a long time. Now he's working off 2 tech labs, but still, how many tanks do we have on the map? He has a single tank out right now, Ben. There are 2 medevacs full of bio units making their way into this natural of Koma, who does have 2 misters there. At the same time, we have Hellions being dropped in the back of Alive's base. Sorry guys, normally I'm the one observing, and this time it's Ben, so sometimes I'm casting the wrong game.
They do manage to roast a couple of SCVs, but not a whole lot more than that being done. Alive's not been able to find an opening with his initial drop, as Koma did build a couple of turrets, so he's got good defenses in place.
But he could drop a point defense room there, and then he's going to deal sick damage.
Oh, Vikings are actually going to intercept here. They've spotted one of these medevacs, and Alive's going to be very careful. PDD's actually forced. Oh no! Sick! Point defense room being dropped there by Koma. That said, this drop is still going to unload in the back of Koma's natural expansion. He will lose the medevacs.
He will lose a few Vikings as well. He's going to lose those turrets. He's losing a few SCVs. This is pretty painful. Okay, he has a lot of Hellions coming in now. So these Hellions will eventually clean it up. Still, I think this was sort of okay. It's okay to throw away bio units for the greater good. And he once more picked up 4, 5, no, even more than that, like maybe 7, 8, 9 SCVs. Throughout the entire game, 25 workers have gone down. Now the Banshee got 16 kills.
Yeah, most of them went at first Banshee.
Yeah.
But
so 9 kills is not too bad.
Yeah, I still think Koma's in a pretty okay spot. Alive's out on the map once more with Marines, Marauders, and Siege tanks this time. Koma's got 4 tanks of his own against 5 tanks. No. Yeah, it's 6 tanks for Koma, 4 tanks for Alive right now. So Siege tank advantage does go to Koma. He's also got the benefit of having air superiority with those Vikings. So I think Koma's going to be just fine. I don't think Alive can really attack into this.
Nope, because he can only drop a single stim. Oh, this is a bad fight for Alive. He can take that.
Well, actually, these Hellions are going to give chase, and I think it makes a lot of sense as they're going to come forward. They're going to roast a lot of this bio. Koma's tanks pushing forward on the ground as well. And once those Hellions die, you should probably back off, though. And that's exactly what we are going to see happen.
Ooh.
And with
nice pickup there by
Siege line being where it needs to be.
That hot pickup. Still, lost a lot of bio units, and normally it's okay to lose bio units if you can trade them for tanks, but just trading them only for Hellions while you're not really having an economic lead, then I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah, I think that was an excellent exchange there for Koma, who kind of battles right back, and he's going to unsiege and start rolling out. I'm not sure if this is the time to attack or not. We'll see. It's just Hellbat, Siege tanks, and Vikings right now. Alive's out on the map. Koma sees it with his medevac.
I mean, Alive did lose those 2 medevacs on the right side of the map, and now he lost a few bio units.
Oh, and he's going to lose 2 more medevacs if the Vikings turn and shoot. If the Vikings turn and shoot. But the Vikings are not going to turn and shoot. It was free medevacs. And look at Alive, very aggressively expanding towards the meching player. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's very ballsy.
That makes a whole lot of sense to me, and Koma's going to expand away.
Gonna put it up. Vikings once more can get a couple of free shots up. This time they will pick off one of these medevacs.
And that's all they're going to get in the meantime. Koma's taking a lot of map control.
Koma's like, what? You have a sensor tower? I'm the one supposed to have a sensor tower.
I don't like Koma being this far out on the map, man. I think he's playing a dangerous game against Bio.
Like, his army can be a lot stronger than it actually is right now, and he's making himself very susceptible for a big stim. Here come those Marauders.
That's exactly what we're going to see. Tanks are going to siege up. Hellbat's going down very quickly, and Marauders have no trouble dispatching these siege tanks, so Koma confirming our fears.
Koma was too overeager there. That was like 50% of his army at best.
Yeah, it was
he's
not
still
the right
trading
time.
sort of okay. There are only 4 Marauders remaining. And Koma does have a good economy. He's on 76 workers. He's getting his port base now as well, but he lost a lot of tanks there, which could have been, you know, much better for him.
Yeah, I think tanks for Marauders is a trade that that Alive is happy to make all day, every day.
Koma doesn't know about his fort base. I think when he knows, he starts giggling. He's like, lol.
I mean, this is going to be Koma's next expansion, I imagine, and he's basically going to be able to siege up.
He's going to be in range of the sensor tower.
Yeah. But Alive...
Maybe that's why Alive took it. He's like, so I know when he takes the space.
Alive's going to get a little bit YOLO here, Kev. He's pushing out on the map. He's got a lot of bio, a lot of siege tanks, and he is going to get a little bit aggressive once more. Koma has no sensor towers, and he's not been that diligent with his scouting.
I feel the YOLO spirit is very high in both of them.
They were born to YOLO. That needs to be a t-shirt.
That needs to be a t-shirt. Oh, that would be great.
Man, that's deep on so many different levels.
Yep. Because in the end of the day, it's also true. Alright, taking a look at the Viking count on both sides, because I know that's important. Well, there are 12 Vikings for Koma, not a single Viking for Alive. So these 5 medevacs that Alive has banned, those are going to be sit-in docks, unless he's going to micro them like a god and like stims and then puts them slightly below, behind his medevacs or behind his bio units outside of range of all these Vikings. But that's going to be very hard.
Indeed. Big drop being sent over to the third base, or natural expansion, I guess, of Koma, and this is going to do massive, massive damage. Alive. Going to Doom Drop style. He's going to shut down this entire expansion. At the same time, Koma's going to take that as a prompt to pick a fight out in the middle of the map, saying, hey, if all your supplies in my natural, then what are you going to defend with? And he has got to do huge damage with this attack.
He's not sieged up, but Hellbats are so good in soaking up damage and buying time. He's still not sieging though. So far, Alive is doing a good job microing this. Where are those medevacs? I guess they're all on the right bottom side of the map. So there's no way, there are no medevacs for this little army, but Koma's on move command, but he's losing a lot of
so
tanks.
careless with his units, and it looks like Alive is just capitalizing perhaps on his inexperience, perhaps on his better multitasking. As it looks like Koma's going to lose fights on 2 fronts. Viking is landing to try to deal with these siege tanks, but Alive is not going to have much trouble cleaning up the last of this. And
Alive did a great job there at picking away at so many of these tanks, forcing Koma that if he wants to siege, it would be so far away from his production that he would at least have enough time to get more and more bio units out, and at the same time this drop in the main base is just still so effective. Marauder's going to tie in on all these tanks. Eventually Koma will clean it up, but not before paying a very high price.
And Alive knows just how far ahead he is. Immediately unsieges and rolls out. He's going to push right into the third expansion of Koma, and there are just no defenses in place. Just a handful of siege tanks.
Koma's
literally just 2 Hellbats. Yeah, and it's not worked out for him too well in game number 1. GG gets called as Alive goes ahead and secures Altrazim's stronghold with you know, it was just punishing Koma. Every time Koma did anything, Alive punished it. You go for the fast command center, punishes it with a Banshee. And go for an aggressive early push, punishes it with better bio.
I'm very surprised that Koma was still able to get that army out in that phase in the game, which could have been super scary. But if he would have just like calmed down a little bit and move out with his real army instead of you know, just like the few tanks that he had. And yes, of course, Alive lost a few units in the right bottom, but still there were so many Marauders that were able to engage on these tanks. Because on a few times, like I feel if Koma waits a little longer, then he has that ridiculously scary mech army that's really hard to engage, and you kind of just want to run around. But it was always just like not